sure you have been really enlightened a lot with a lot of information from different colleagues in the last few days, particularly in customer and patient focus. To be honest, I'm not here to repeat what has been mentioned. I'm going to actually work together with you to build and paint a picture about the impact of behaviors on what we call patient focus, customer focus, multiple stakeholder approach. And for that reason, this session, which is 30 minutes, is not going to be very successful unless you participate with me. So, in that regard, I would like to ask everyone to come to the front, please. Is that possible? Is that possible? Can I ask you please to come to the front? Because basically what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be experimenting with you something around behaviors. A lot of information has been shared about process, systems, tools, skills, and the thing that we lack is basically the behavior side. So, for those who like presentation, I'm sorry I'm going to disappoint you today. I'm not going to be presenting anything. I'm going to be experimenting things with you. I think it's better to come closer, guys. Don't fear me. I'm not going to bite you. Just come closer. Come closer because we're going to do some experiment. I'm going to use some flip charts with you. And you're going to be actually the one who's going to decide whether patient focus is something we really need to focus on. And the pharmaceutical, are we capable of doing this? Or what it takes to make it happen? To make this successful, I would like to ask kindly some volunteers to volunteer and join me. I'd like to have 4 or 5 volunteers. Volunteers, if you don't mind. Yes, so Alan, thank you very much. And what's your name? Okay. Good, thank you very much. Good. Anybody else, guys? Anybody else? Trust me, it's not going to be painful. It's going to be fun. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Don't worry, don't worry. So your name is? Karsten. Thank you very much, Karsten. Carrie. So give them a bit of applause, guys. So if you don't mind, can you just stand on the stage, just for people because they can see you. I'm going to actually make an experiment, and I would really like everybody to pay attention for that, because that will open our discussion around what we call behavior and the relationship to what we call the patient focus or customer-centric. So, thank you very much, guys, for volunteering. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be asking you a few questions, and the question is going to get gradually, actually it's going to be 3 questions, going to be gradually a little bit difficult. So, my first question for you, Alan, is, do you know how to count from 1 to 10? Yes. Can you do it, please, and do it loud?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Give him a big hand, guys. Well done. Excellent. Fantastic. How about you? Good, please. Yeah, can you do it again, please?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Brilliant. How about you, sir? I can't believe it. How about you, Karen?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Fantastic. Give them a big hand, guys. I can't believe that. That reminded me 25 years ago when I carried the bag first time, going to the field, meeting my first physician with my head held high. I'm feeling proud. I'm the main source of information. I'm going to really change the lives of patients. Funny enough, after 25 years, I'm standing here with you for 3 days, talking about the same thing. After 25 years, my goodness. That is actually the way we learned how to promote pharmaceuticals, how to promote the industry. And we know the challenges we faced with the industry in the past few years. So, today your customers are very different. You know that, right? And your customers cannot really understand the language of 1 to 10. What I'm going to ask you, I'm going to stand from your side, and I want your observation, because I'm going to ask you a question about what happened to them. Can you count backward from 10 to 1? Please do it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Fantastic. How about you, sir?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm so proud of you. How about you? You can't. Oh my God. Well, sorry. So you have to do it. Yeah, that's your customers, not me.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Fantastic. How about you, Aiden?
Yes, I
Yes,
can try. 10,
please.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Well done, guys. Give them a big hand one more time. I have a question for you. Thank you very much, guys, for the effort. What did you observe in the second time compared to the first time? Any observation? Not a big difference. Any other observation? It was not spontaneous. How did you know that? Because people take some little bit longer time to think about it. I have seen in other situations where people sometimes they count or fingers backward, or they stare in the ceiling and they think more about it. You know. So, but why? Because that's a subtle change. Because who are these customers? So what's you know, we are clever. We are very, very sophisticated people. We educate the customer. And that is a big syndrome in the industry. With the change, we change little. We don't feel the change. And that is where you have the challenge. Even with little subtle change in the behavior of people, with this little subtle change in the customer mindset, what happened is we still have the syndrome, we know better. That's how I've been taught. That's how many pharmaceutical companies embedding their commercial model, sales model, market access model, even R&D model, is we know better, we educate you. The challenge is, imagine yourself working in the telecom industry, a very young industry, 25 years industry, and all of a sudden, new technology comes, and your voice sales will go, what would you do? What would you do, guys? Imagine yourself today, or in the coming few years, big regulation comes and say, you know what, because of market access, because we cannot sustain our health system, we're going to cancel the rule of patency. What would you do, guys? It's a big change. And you need to expect unexpected in an industry which is really evolving. It's a very political industry. You know more than I know about that. And that's my last question for you guys. And the question is going to be very disruptive. So I want you to count according to alphabetical order. Your customer cannot understand backward. So you need to really count according to the alphabetical order. I'm sorry, it's not only them. I'm going to ask everybody to stand up, guys in the room, please. Stand up. And that is for everyone. You cannot use the pen. You have to do it thinking out loud. Count in alphabetical order. Means, if you write the numbers, what you do, you pronounce the first number, start with the first alphabet order. And I'm going to help you with the first one. And the first one is E, and that's 8. So, I want to see how long you will take to make that exercise. Now you are on the spot. New regulation coming to you. Your customers cannot understand your language. You need to find how you count in alphabetical order. Who's going to do it? I need someone to volunteer. How about you guys?
We have 17 minutes.
Don't worry. You are right, Alan. So, any volunteer, guys? 8, yeah? So, Mr. Chairman, yes?
So start from 1. Yeah.
Well, actually, you should start with the alphabetical order. E. So, 8, and 1 by 1. Your customer cannot hear all of you. Only one. So, please. 8, 5, 4, 9,
1, 7, 6, 10, 3.
10, 3, 2. Give him a big hand. Well done. Excellent. You can sit down. He's the only one who's going to sit down. You're going to have to hear from all of you. Sit down, guys. Sit down. Give them a big applause, guys. Thank you very much, guys, for volunteering. So, what is the message I'm trying to convey here, guys? What is the message? The message is we all fall drawn into systems, process, structure. And that is what I have been hearing a lot in the pharmaceutical industry. I work a lot in the telecom industry. I have been amazed with the agility of them, that we are all consumers for voice and data services. And that is where I'm going to come and talk to you actually. I'm not going to educate you because you know this more than I know. And we have seen it in the experiment, the word behaviors and the word talent. What is missing in the formula that we all talk about is the people. Patient focus. Is it patient focus or a customer focus? Or is it a key opinion leader focus? You know, I'm not here to tell you how do you target your customers. You know better than me. You know better than me. But what we need to do think about the impact of behaviors of how can we create a differentiation in our company. I work with a lot of pharmaceutical companies around the globe. You can name them. And every company has a job description for a sales rep, for a market access, for a medical liaison, for everything, right? And it's the same thing. What makes a difference from one company to another? Any clue? Let me give you a clue. I'm sure you would travel as a traveler. Think of a memorable experience with an airline. Why have you got really impressed with that? Anybody can share with us? Huh? Can you describe that for us, Freddie, please?
So from an experience perspective, the fact that they were taking care that they actually exceeded your expectations, it was just the fact that you felt good after that.
Absolutely. It's just the way they actually deliver the service to you. I travel sometimes with airline where the flight attendant will meet me at the entrance gate and she will say, "Oh, Magdi, this is 32A, let's go to the right and you're going to find it in just 6 rows ahead." But sometimes I get amazed with how passionate actually is the flight attendant when she say, "Oh, that's a very nice day today, good morning to you," and she looks in my eyes and she smiles. "Oh, that's a fantastic seat." You see, that is what I call the behavior. And that is what actually makes an impression. We all stay in hotels. The first thing they ask you in the hotel, when you go for breakfast, what is that? What's your room number? Is it important to you? It's not important for you, it's important for them. You know? And that is what pharmaceuticals actually, when you go to the customers, I was amazed to hearing some of the people, or one of the presentations, is salespeople, they talk 80%. 80%. And customers talk 20%. And we talk about patient focus. Are we really serious, guys? Are we really serious about patient-centric and customer-centric? And I think what we have to do is we have to go back to basics. And because of this, what I would really like to share with you is, I want to ask you one question. I'm going to distribute some post-it notes. Leah, if you can help me, please. Or Freddie, please. So I'm going to distribute some post-it notes to you, and I know you have to catch up your time. So if you can give a post-it note for everyone, or just distribute some. I want you to write, what does it mean for you, patient focus? Just write one behavior that describes patient focus for you. One behavior. One behavior, if you see it in your people, you will say, "Hey, I think we became actually patient focused." And once you write it down, I want you to stick it on the word patient-centric. So I'm going to actually pass some post-it notes around. You have one? You can cut it. Yeah. I want you to just write one single behavior, not much. And then you can just stick it on the wall, stick it on this flip chart, and then I will take you from there into... Do you want me to stick it to you? Yeah. Just write one behavior. Only one. I know we have a very short time, but I'm trying to make my point across clearly. If we say patient focus, what does this mean? What does this mean? And if you can move your post-it notes into the flip chart, maybe now, maybe later on, what I will do now, I'm going to actually share with you a model which is probably you can challenge it, but also you might take it as food for thought. How can we really take this into our organizations or not? I'm not advocating it, but what I have seen in other industries, it is working. If I ask you today, if you cannot see from a distance, I invite you to come forward. A lot of seats in the front. So, if I ask you today, what is the difference between behaviors and skills? It's a question. Yes, please. What you? Yes, what you see. Yes? What? Yeah, thank you very much. What else? Yeah? It's more emotion. It touches the heart. So, very well done. So, it's what we see, what touches the heart, right? How can we translate this into A simple model in the pharmaceutical, a sales rep job. How can we translate that? I have seen companies, they write a script call for sales reps. As you know what? If you don't do this, you're in trouble. You go to the customer, and I'm sorry, you vomit the information of customers. That's what happened. How customers will feel about that? You will feel sick. And if I'm a customer, I will feel sick. So a behavior is anything people actually can feel. It's a hard thing. People can see. People can hear. But what we focus in the pharmaceutical, in our many business model, you talk it from R&D to sales reps, passing by all the value chain, is the skills. I'm amazed with the amount of information in this event that's focusing on systems, process, structures, information, analytics, models, and very few focus on that. Although we all buy because of this. And that is the biggest issue. What your customers see is the tip of the iceberg. Is the behavior of your entire organization. The behavior of executive people like yourself impact the internal customer, enter the frontliner, impact the frontliner and how they actually impact your customers. The crowd of customers and the touch point that we have been hearing a lot about, technologically interfacing direct and indirect, has an impact or direct influence by the behaviors. So, what is the point, Magdi? What is the relation between patient focus and behaviors? Anybody has a clue? Anybody has a clue? What is the relationship between behaviors and patient focus? Customer centricity, multiple stakeholder approach.
Empathy and understanding.
Is it? It's about empathy and understanding. Actually, you're spot on, because the other model that actually I have seen a lot of models from differently, and they are all correct. And probably what I'm going to be sharing here is complementing that. Is the patient, I will put it at the center as well. Actually, we all live because of the patient. We get our salaries because of the patient, and we are all patients. So our shareholders, that is your biggest challenge. Because if you are a CEO, if you are a manager, if you are a general manager, if you are a market access manager, at the end of the day, you've got to please your shareholders. Why? Because they pay your salary. And your shareholders know they are investing in the pharmaceutical industry because it's a genuine industry. We all have diseases, and we're going to continue to have diseases, right? But the industry is driven by this. And that is why we always focus on how can we maximize the shareholders' value. Traditionally, we do that through who? Who is the second benefiting stakeholder from the patient? Huh? It's healthcare professionals. They also survive from this market. I'm telling you the obvious here. What is missing in this formula, guys? What is missing in this formula?
The company.
Huh?
The company.
What do you mean the company? Well done.
Us.
The people. Give him a big hand. Well done. Excellent. Give him a big hand. It's the people side. And that is what's normally undermined. And that is the relationship between people, talent, and the word behavior. Your people, if they don't know what you mean by patient focus, they will get confused. You tell them, guys, patient focus, and in reality, what do you do? Maximize the dollar. You tell them, guys, customer focus, multi-channel marketing, you tell them a lot of things. But what you tell them, guys, and by the way, I'm going to incentivize you, not on that, on that. And that is the back side of focusing on models, structure, systems. How long do I have, Freddie? 2 minutes. Fantastic. So what I'm going to be actually, allow me to share, how do we really shape that? There are certain steps and we use a whole brain approach. How do you really build a patient-centric approach based on the brain? And that is what I'm going to be sharing here. What is it? The first step you do is you go to an X company and you ask people, like I asked you today, guys, describe for me what does it mean patient-centric. And in a process, lengthy process, we define this in the context of your own organization. Means what differentiates GSK from AbbVie is a vision, is a value. So patient centricity in your company is going to be different from other companies. Is it clear? So what we do, and we take the outcome and we map it on a model based on the brain. And we draw the first thing, we say patient centricity is going to be around, I'm just making it all up, outcome-based, results-driven, and by the way, it's all about practice and it's about passion to serve. And these behaviors, you say, that is the ideal profile. That's the ideal patient-centric profile. And you embed this in everything you do in the company. Then the next step is you say, now let us see how our company actually is patient-centric or not, across all layers and all functions. So if you have a market access, they need to also have this as part of their objective to reach. And you tailor it per function. You tailor it per layer. And the second thing is you do, is you say, let's see, where are we today? And if you are here today, then you know that is the current situation. And you know there's a big gap in this part. And that's where you both process, systems, environment, to close the gap of that. What we do even at an individual level, whether the person is going to be likely move with the move or not, which is, we call it the enters profile. If the enters profile of a person is here, we know that person is more likely to be patient-focused than others. And that model, we call it, is the whole brain model. We have applied it in many, many industries. And the whole brain approach for changing behavior. And it's making a big difference for many of the clients we work with. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, I told you when I said if you get to talk to Magdi, within a few seconds you're completely a different person. Magdi, thank you so much. I think that it's unfortunate that we only have to give you such a short time period. I think people would have loved to learn more.
Thank you very much.
I would encourage everybody in the room at the break to come and see Magdi.
I'm around,
I'm
yes.
sure you guys have a lot more questions, but I also want to be mindful of our next speaker.
Thank you very much.
Let me get this ready so we can get a line.